डबल इंजन सरकार कर रही है युवाओं के सपने साकार। पारदर्शिता और प्रोत्साहन से तरक्की के अवसर मिल रहे अपार। बिना खर्ची बिना पर्ची मिली 1,80,000 से अधिक युवाओं को सरकारी नौकरी। और तो और अग्निवीरों को भी सरकारी विभागों में मिल रहा आरक्षण और वरीयता।
साथियों, हमने केवल सरकारी नौकरी ही नहीं बल्कि रोजगार सुरक्षा पर भी काम किया है। हमने कानून बनाकर हरियाणा कौशल रोजगार निगम के तहत कार्यरत युवाओं के भविष्य को भी सुरक्षित किया है।
सीएम साहब का हम बहुत बहुत ही धन्यवाद करना चाहते हैं, जो उन्होंने अपना वादा पूरा किया और बिना खर्चे बिना पर्चे हमको रोजगार दिया।
भाई वाह, अब तो हरियाणा वाकई में बदल गया है।
ये है नया हरियाणा।
I think firstly it's a very good thing that he has spoken to the Iranian foreign minister. I mean, apart from the civilizational links we always had with Iran, it is very important for India to be able to talk to Iran, to listen to them and to offer any good offices that we can. At this point in time, I think it is important that everyone, and particularly in India, we help to diffuse some of the tension. Although, let us face it, we are in the middle of a massive military campaign by the United States on Iran. And the United States has made it very clear that they are not interested in listening to anyone or in deflecting their objectives. So the space for India to get into this in any form of mediation or reduction of tension is very limited. However, we have to maintain those channels of communication, and we have to hope that this entire military campaign of bombing Iran comes to a halt earlier rather than later.
Sir, earlier the United States made a social media post spotted an oil tanker safely through the Strait of Hormuz. But later they have deleted this post. So do you think that the US has started now an information warfare just to hide the military losses of the United States?
I don't think it's information warfare. I mean, on the face of it, I would take their claim at face value that they have successfully destroyed Iran's military capabilities, including on the Strait of Hormuz, and that, they have effectively neutralized Iran's navy and other capabilities for the moment. What happens after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows? That entirely depends on who governs Tehran and what happens after this campaign is over. But I think the Strait of Hormuz is very, very critical. It's very narrow. Anyone can block it. Anyone can sabotage it. So we are treading a very thin line in terms of ensuring the free movement of energy supplies to India through the Strait of Hormuz. We just have to hope that it clears up fast. And the litmus test for this will be finally the rates of maritime insurance for insurance of vessels and ships. If the insurance rates come down, we know that the risks have reduced. If the insurance rates go up, we know the reality that speaks for itself. And of course, the other thing is the price of the oil, which is very important. Which is, we have to, it's really shooting up and down. It's very unstable. So I think these next few days will be important, but we have to look at beyond the next few days. I mean, we have to look at what happens in the medium term, in the long term. We have to then take back lessons from what has happened.
So as you just said about the oil and gas surge sharply since the war began, sir, what do you think that how will this impact energy importing nations like India? Like we import many gases and petrol from different countries. How do you think that this will this burden India on the consumption of high fuel of the nation?
It will definitely have an impact on our current account deficit, on our balance of payment situation, because, as I said, we import 90% of our energy and all of it is in dollars, or most of it is in US dollars. So any increase in oil prices will have a downstream effect on inflation in India, on the pace of our economic growth, etc. The question is how long it lasts. If it's a question of few days or weeks, we're okay. But if it lasts beyond that, then of course it will have. Already there are some energy importing countries, smaller economies like Pakistan or Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, which are already feeling the pinch, we are able to sustain, we will be able to sustain given our strategic reserves, etc. But it will definitely have an impact, and we will have to continue the process of diversification of sources of import of oil from other countries going beyond the Gulf. We have a vested interest in ensuring sustained supply, predictable supply, and we will have to work with major oil suppliers, energy suppliers, such as Russia, the Gulf, the United States itself, to ensure, and when there is a shortage or when prices are going up, we will also be competing with other oil importers, major energy importers such as China. So if the market size reduces, availability reduces, if prices rise, then we will be faced in a competitive position vis-a-vis China also.
Sir, how do you think that these short-term economic shocks from the war compound longer-term challenges and debt burdens for countries like India?
They will compound, as I said, we will have an impact if this continues, but from whatever we are hearing from the Americans in the last couple of days, it seems that there is some thinking about closing it and bringing this to an end. But that is easier said than done. We have to make sure what happens to the oil that is coming out from the Gulf states and what happens to the oil that is available in Iran. These are two different sources. We'll have to see how much of the impact we have on the oil supplies coming, not just supplies, but also the routes of supply, which is whether the shipping routes are safe, secure, whether after the campaign, the Strait of Hormuz continues to remain navigable, continues to remain available for shipping services for oil, for the tankers, and so on. This is not very clear yet.
So now let's come to the program of this energy conclave been so far.
No, I think it's been good. I've just attended one session. I think they've done a good job. They've got a lot of very experienced Indian officials, former officials, and some strategic thinkers. And what I'm particularly happy about is they've got people from the neighborhood. I met a few people from Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Maldives. I think we need to have much more engagement with our neighboring countries, immediate neighbors, but also the broader region.
So has the session addressed what we are seeing today?
I think we started off with the West Asia crisis, and we started off also discussing the recent elections in the neighboring countries. So yes, they are discussing all of these, the crisis to the rules-based order, what solutions we can come up with as India and countries of the region. So yes, they are discussing the real issues of the day.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.